Hi guys, Christian Chi Trend here, and this is the channel for unlocking your universal potential. In this video, we are going to talk about meditation. Now, obviously there are hundreds of types of meditations, however, probably thousands. However, I think we can break it essentially down into two different types of meditation. One is about clearing our mind, creating that space of no mind where we are essentially at one with our environment and letting any thoughts go. And the other is what you'd call in the sort of manifestation work. So that is essentially putting out into the vibrational energy field a intention attached with an emotion, so that you can then, with the law of attraction, start to see that come back to you in your life. Maybe not exactly what you imagine, but as the universe usually gives you what you need rather than what you want, but manifestations are very powerful. So we're going to do a meditation today. It's going to be a meditation for the former one, about creating that gap of no mind, as Eckhart would say. And so why meditate? Well, for a start, it certainly chills you out. It certainly makes you more relaxed. It makes you less stressed. Studies have shown that it makes you happier, and it makes you better to deal with what life throws at you. So I think if you suffer from anxiety or depression, you should also strongly consider meditation as well. I usually meditate once or twice a day, twice ideally, but sometimes I might only have time for one. So I want to talk to you first, before we go into that meditation, in terms of the nature of reality, because I think it's important to understand the sort of basis behind, particularly on the meditation front for the law of attraction, the manifestation stuff, what the basis is behind that in terms of the science behind it, because I think it's worth understanding that as well, so you don't think this is all just mumbo jumbo. So if you take a look at your hand, you see your hand, right? Well, actually, it's not just so simple as you looking at your hand. What's actually happening is light is reflecting off your hand, going into your retina in your eye, and then that is then being inverted. And then through the seat of consciousness in the mind, we are then able to then create that into an image. And we also think we are looking at a solid hand, when in essence, nothing is really solid. All matter is essentially around 99.9% energy vibrating. Atoms have nuclei, which make up like 0.1% of them. So everything from your hand to the table to the wall is all made of, at the molecular level, the same material. And also that material is predominantly, that material only makes up a tiny little minuscule part. Most of it is the energy around it that's vibrating at different frequencies, which makes things appear differently. And human beings, we are essentially tuned into a very narrow band of frequency. I mean, right now in this room, there's probably Wi-Fi bouncing around, 4G, 5G, all sorts of things, microwaves, all sorts of things bouncing around. And we can see, just like a TV channel, we are tuning into certain channels, and we will then get what's being broadcast through that channel. Dogs may see something slightly different. They may, for example, they're not going to see the same amount of colours that we see. Other animals may see more shades of colour. Different animals can see different things. Different levels of consciousness can potentially see different things as we as human beings work our way up through consciousness. So this is important because essentially everything is one energy. Everything throughout the universe, which is constantly expanding, came from that initial explosion or series of explosions, depending on your belief system, the Great Bang, if we call it that, or the Great Bangs. That universal energy runs through the system, potentially through multiple dimensions as well, if we're going to take the multi-dimensional philosophy. So it's an energy that runs through everything. It sits sort of on top or underneath everything. Even if we had no air, we'd still have space and space-time, and it sits there as well. It goes throughout the whole universe. Everything is connected by one energy. So why don't we just sort of, vaporize or sort of shape shift on a constant basis into air and then back into humans and beings, etc., etc. Well, energy, essentially, the main thing that makes us human, or makes us makes something a dog, for example, is the different levels of consciousness. And the different levels of consciousness is affecting how the energy is moving. So, in conscious creatures, the energy is in a spiral format. Now, if something was to then eventually get to such a high state of consciousness that it would then go boundless, and then it would go into the infinite format of moving around. This is what science has come up with in terms of, you know, the math sign basically for infinite, because obviously there are such things. Numbers can't explain everything, and there is such a thing as numberless. So the universe is constantly expanding, and I believe, in the same way that the other interesting thing is our bodies never go anywhere really. We may well be cremated or buried, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but we live on. You know, that goes back into the soil, it goes into the air. Nothing ever disappears really. And in my belief system, consciousness also never disappears. We are, as I view it, eternal spiritual beings here for a temporary period of time. So, but we'll talk about perhaps reincarnation, etc., in a different video. But what's the point of me talking about all of this? Well, once we start to realize that we are all made of the same thing, you know, your friend is just another version of you, in essence, pushed out. Like, everything is the same material. We can start to then plan to do manifestation work to try and align ourselves with a version of reality that we want to be on. So I'm going to do a meditation now with you today, which is, as I say, about clearing our mind. It's about that gap of no mind. And so if you want to start by doing a few deep breaths in with me. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, we're going to breathe out through our mouth, and we're going to do that 3 times. I want you to really breathe in from your belly rather than from your chest. So a nice deep breath. And again. And again. Right, so the meditation. If you can sit cross-legged, put your hands, your palms facing upwards towards the sky, straight back. Incidentally, if you don't want to sit cross-legged, you can sit with your legs out, but preferably cross-legged. Close your eyes and just focus on that spot in the center of your head. So in between your eyes and sort of slightly higher up from that, you may well see a little red dot, or you might not see anything, but I often get sort of a little red dot, or a light red dot that appears around there. And just focus on that space. Just tilt your head up slightly, ever so slightly, straight back. And we're just going to let any thoughts that come into our mind drift away, like clouds floating through our mind. If you think of something, accept it, let it go. Let that cloud pass. Let that thought vaporize. And just go into a complete state of no mind. Focus on your breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And relax. And just be completely present with the moment. You may hear a sound in the background. Let that sound be. No need to attach a thought to it. Just focus on our breathing. In through our nose and out through our mouth. So I will talk occasionally through this meditation, but I want you to just focus on that spot in the center of your forehead and your breathing. and let any thoughts disappear. Keep your back straight. Your back can be supported, but your neck should be free and not supported. Keep your head slightly tilted upwards. Just focus on your breathing. And we're just going to do 5 minutes of this, so we're almost halfway into it. If you feel thoughts, your mind's starting to wander, just keep focusing on that point in the center of your head. You're breathing. And any noise you can hear, just zone out of it. One more minute of no mind. Okay, when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes very, very slowly. Well, how was that for you? Feel free to leave a comment. Obviously, there's different stages you can be at with meditation. Maybe that was the first time you've meditated and maybe you thought for 90% of it. Maybe you thought for 99% of it. But obviously we're aiming over time with practice to get to a point where you're not thinking at all in this style of meditation. So I already feel calmer and more relaxed than going into the meditation. The effects for me usually last for a few hours. So it's good. It's good practice. Thank you for joining me with that. If you want to see more videos, please do subscribe, or if you're already a subscriber, either way, I'd appreciate if you could hit the like button. And if you aren't a new subscriber, hit the little bell icon as well, just so you get notified when new videos are out. Peace and love. Thank you.